All right, let's dive in. Today we're tackling clean energy.
Ooh, a hot topic.
Yeah, it really is. And to get a good grasp on it, we're turning to an article from TWI, the Welding Institute.
Interesting source.
Right. They really break down the basics. So by the end of this, you'll know what clean energy is, how it works, and why it matters, like directly to you.
Sounds comprehensive. I'm ready to learn.
Me too.
Good
We'll be looking at some big questions like, is all renewable energy clean?
question.
And can we really ditch fossil fuels by, say, 2050?
Bold prediction.
It is.
Yeah.
And how does this all affect your wallet? What's the personal impact?
Yeah, that's the key question for a lot of people, I think.
Totally. So let's get started. One of the first things this article does is separate clean, green, and renewable energy.
Ah, yes. Important distinction.
I've been guilty of using them interchangeably,
It's easy to do.
but the article makes it clear they have distinct meanings. And that's important for understanding this whole clean energy landscape.
Definitely. So clean energy is all about emissions. It doesn't pollute the air when used.
Makes sense.
Green energy comes from natural resources.
And renewable energy can be replenished naturally.
Right, so you can see where things overlap, but they're not always the same.
Like the article's example of hydropower. Water, it's renewable, it keeps flowing. So hydropower is renewable energy.
Yeah,
But those dams, though, they can really hurt the environment during construction. So maybe not so green.
exactly. The article talks about the sweet spot, where it's clean, green, and renewable.
The trifecta.
Exactly,
Yeah.
like solar and wind power, using natural resources in a way that doesn't pollute.
So it's like a Venn diagram where all those circles overlap.
I like that visual.
Me too.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I'm curious about how these clean energy sources actually work.
Well, the article breaks down the mechanics of some of the most popular ones. Let's take solar power, for example.
Okay.
Sunlight gets converted into electricity using those photovoltaic cells, in solar panels.
Right. But it's not just about panels on rooftops, is it?
Not at all. The article mentions solar water heating, using the sun for hot water.
Smart.
There are also solar-powered cooling systems, and even community solar arrays powering neighborhoods.
Wow, so versatile. And speaking of versatility, the article also dives into wind power.
Yeah, which has been around forever in different forms.
True. From those old windmills to the modern turbines we see today.
Right. And the article even talks about off-grid wind power for individual homes.
Oh. It's amazing, the things I never even thought of. Like the article mentioned harnessing energy from water flowing through city pipes.
Yeah. Everyday water usage turned into energy. So innovative.
It really highlights how many possibilities there are.
For sure. The article also mentions things like geothermal energy, biomass energy, and tidal power.
So many ways to tap into nature's power, really.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've got a handle on what clean energy is and some of the ways it works, but why should you care? What's the impact on your life?
That's the key, right? And the article connects clean energy to the benefits we see personally and globally, a major one being the environment.
And the article lays out why we should be concerned about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Clean energy is a big player in fighting climate change by reducing greenhouse gases. It also cleans the air we breathe and the water we drink.
Major pluses there.
For sure. And by moving away from fossil fuels, we prevent disasters like oil spills and reduce risks from natural gas leaks.
Okay, those are serious benefits, but it goes beyond just the environment, right?
It does. The article also highlights the economic benefits.
Oh, yeah, I'm listening.
So clean energy can actually lower your energy costs.
Interesting.
It's also creating tons of jobs in this growing industry. Think solar panel installers, wind turbine technicians.
Wow, makes sense.
Plus, relying more on clean energy means we rely less on expensive fuels from other countries. So we get energy independence and security.
So cleaner air, a more stable energy bill, and maybe even a new job in this booming field.
It's a powerful picture.
It really is. Clean energy isn't just some abstract idea. It affects us all directly.
Agreed. And speaking of the future, the article paints an optimistic picture, highlighting how renewable energy capacity is growing faster than both fossil fuels and nuclear combined.
Wait, really? Faster than fossil fuels?
Yep. The article cites some compelling evidence. Like over a third of the world's power capacity is now renewable.
Seriously.
And get this, the UK actually ran entirely on renewable energy for 2 whole months.
Wow. 2 months straight. That's incredible. It seems like things are shifting in a big way.
They are, and it's not just national level stuff. Cities and big companies are setting goals to switch to renewables.
So if cities and businesses are going all in, it's a sign that this isn't a fad.
Exactly. This is a fundamental shift in how we power our world.
I'm with you there. Now, here's the big prediction. The article says clean energy could completely replace fossil fuels by 2050. Pretty optimistic, right?
It is. And like any prediction, there are challenges and uncertainties. But the article makes some interesting points to back up that 2050 target.
Okay, lay it on me. What makes them so confident about 2050?
Well, fossil fuels are finite, right? We'll run out eventually. So transitioning to clean energy is unavoidable. The question is how smoothly and quickly it'll happen.
That's a good point. But I know some people are skeptical about clean energy meeting our needs fully.
The article acknowledges that. Some folks argue that solar and wind aren't reliable enough, because they're weather dependent.
Right, I've heard that.
And others question if they're truly clean, considering production and disposal.
So how does the article address those skeptical views?
It offers counterarguments. First, clean means zero carbon footprint, from production to storage to disposal. And while storage is a challenge, experts are working on solutions to make renewable energy more reliable. Think better batteries and smart grids.
So solutions are coming. But what about the environmental impact of making solar panels and wind turbines? Is that truly clean?
Good question. The article uses burning wood as an example. It's renewable, but it releases CO2, so it's not clean. The key is a minimal environmental impact throughout the whole life cycle, not just when we use it.
Okay, that makes sense. It's not just about where the energy comes from, but also how it's made, used, and eventually disposed of.
Exactly. And as technology improves, we can expect even cleaner and more efficient solutions. The future of clean energy is all about innovating and using natural resources to benefit both people and the planet.
This has been really insightful. We've covered a lot of ground, defining clean energy, its impact on the environment and the economy, and how it can affect us personally. This is clearly much more than just a trend. It's a big transition with huge implications. But before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I have a question for you to ponder.
Oh, I like where this is going. A cliffhanger.
You know it. So we've heard this prediction that clean energy could replace fossil fuels by 2050. What would that world actually look like? And what role could you play in making it happen? Think about that, and we'll pick up this discussion in our next part.
Absolutely fascinating. And we're back for more on clean energy.
Ready to pick up where we left off? Last time we dug into what clean energy is, how it works, and the potential it has to really change the world.
We even touched on that bold prediction of a future powered entirely by clean energy by 2050.
Right. So now let's really dive into what that future might look like.
Buckle up, we're time traveling.
I'm ready. What kind of world are we envisioning here?
We'll imagine cities without smog, where you can just breathe fresh air everywhere.
That's the dream.
Coastlines safe from oil spills. Ecosystems thriving because we've stabilized the climate.
Okay, that sounds incredible. But how does that translate to changes we can actually see, in our daily lives?
Think about transportation. Our roads filled with electric vehicles powered by renewable energy.
So they'd be silent and clean.
Exactly. And public transport running on clean electricity, making commutes better all around.
No more exhaust fumes. I can already picture how much cleaner the air would be.
Huge difference. And it wouldn't stop there. Electric planes, trains, even ships, all powered by clean energy.
Wow, that's a whole new level of global trade and travel. Faster, cleaner, more sustainable.
Exactly. It's mind-blowing how this shift could affect everything.
It really is. So what about our homes and buildings? How would they change?
Buildings would be super energy efficient, solar panels integrated into rooftops and walls.
Making the buildings themselves generate power.
Right. And smart grids managing energy use, ensuring a constant flow of clean power.
So homes could even sell excess energy back to the grid.
Exactly. It would revolutionize how we think about energy. Plus, with better energy storage tech, we'd overcome the issue of solar and wind not being 24/7.
Yeah, that's the part that always gets me. What happens when the wind dies down or the sun sets?
Well, we're talking batteries that can store huge amounts of energy. And innovative solutions like pumped hydro storage, using excess energy to pump water uphill and releasing it downhill to generate power when needed.
Okay, that's pretty ingenious. I'm getting a clearer picture of this clean energy future. But gotta ask, what about the cost? Making such a huge change has to be expensive.
That's a valid concern, and the article addresses it. There would be upfront costs, sure, but the long-term economic benefits outweigh them.
Really? How so? What are the long-term benefits that make it worth the investment?
Clean energy sources have very low operating costs. Once a solar panel or wind turbine is up, the fuel is free.
Makes sense. Sunshine and wind are abundant.
Exactly. No more fluctuating gas prices or reliance on foreign oil.
So more stable energy costs overall.
Plus, remember the job creation we talked about: manufacturing, installation, maintenance, research, development. It's a huge industry with massive growth potential.
So we reduce environmental impact, boost the economy, and create new jobs.
It's a triple win. And let's not forget healthcare savings from a cleaner environment. Less respiratory illnesses, a healthier population.
Wow, I didn't even consider that. It really shows that everything's connected.
It is. But if clean energy is so beneficial, why haven't we switched already? What's the holdup?
The million-dollar question: what are the challenges standing in our way?
Infrastructure is a big one. Our current energy grid is designed for big power plants. We need a smarter grid to handle decentralized renewable sources like rooftop solar and wind farms.
Sounds like a massive project.
It is. And we also need better energy storage solutions to tackle the intermittency of solar and wind.
Right, ensuring a reliable supply even when the sun's not shining or the wind's not blowing. But is it even possible? Can we really power the whole world with just sunshine and wind?
The technology is advancing fast. Experts believe it's definitely possible, but it takes a combined effort from governments, businesses, and individuals.
So it's a global effort.
Absolutely. We need policies that encourage clean energy, investments in research and development, and a shift in our energy consumption habits.
A collective push from all sides. But it's exciting to think we have the power to create a cleaner, healthier, more sustainable world.
And that's where you, our listeners, come in.
Oh, I love that. It's not just waiting for others to act. It's realizing we each have a role to play.
Exactly. We can make choices in our lives to reduce energy use, support sustainable businesses, and advocate for policies that promote clean energy.
So it's not about being passive. It's about taking action right here, right now.
Absolutely. Every small step counts. From energy-efficient appliances to choosing renewable energy for our homes, it all adds up.
This is truly inspiring. We've gone from envisioning the future to recognizing we can be a part of making it happen. But what specific actions can we take as individuals? Does the article offer any guidance?
It does. It actually dives into some practical tips and strategies for anyone who wants to embrace clean energy and reduce their carbon footprint.
Well, looks like our journey into clean energy isn't over yet. We have more to explore. We've been exploring clean energy, and I'm really excited to keep uncovering ways we could be a part of building that cleaner future.
It's a good feeling knowing we're not just bystanders in this clean energy transition.
Yeah.
We can actually shape the future.
Exactly. So in this last part of our deep dive, we're looking at the specific actions the article suggests, how we can make a difference. And it's not about huge life overhauls.
Right. It's more about those small but impactful changes in our everyday lives.
Exactly. And the article starts with something a lot of us can do right now, switching to energy-efficient appliances.
It really emphasizes how much energy we can save by choosing appliances with those higher energy star ratings.
It's easy to overlook, but it can make a big difference over time for your wallet and the planet.
Totally. Those savings add up. And while we're on the topic of energy use, the article also points out how much we can do just by being more mindful about how much energy we're using in general.
Okay, I'm all for saving energy, but how do we actually do that without, drastically changing our lifestyle?
It's really about making those small, conscious decisions throughout the day, like turning off lights when you leave a room, unplugging electronics you're not using, using natural light whenever you can.
Simple things, but they can make a real difference if we all do them.
Exactly. Consistency is key. Now, here's another big one: opting for renewable energy sources for our homes.
That sounds great in theory, but isn't that a really complicated and expensive process?
Not necessarily. A lot of utility companies are now offering renewable energy options to their customers.
So you might be able to make the switch without needing to install your own solar panels.
Exactly. It's worth checking with your local provider to see what they offer. You might be surprised.
I'm definitely going to check that out. It's great how accessible clean energy is becoming. But what about transportation? We talked about electric vehicles, but they're not exactly affordable for everyone yet.
True, but we can still make a difference with our current habits. The article recommends choosing fuel-efficient vehicles when you need a new car, and also carpooling or using public transportation whenever possible.
I really like that. Carpooling, taking the bus or train, it's a great way to reduce our environmental impact and connect with our communities.
And if you're going somewhere close by, why not walk or bike? Good for the environment and good for you.
I'm always down for getting some exercise and reducing emissions at the same time. But here's something I didn't expect. The article talks about the connection between food choices and clean energy.
It seems surprising at first, but it makes sense when you think about how much energy goes into producing and transporting food.
Right, I never thought about it that way.
So by choosing local produce, cutting down on meat and reducing food waste, we can also help move toward a cleaner energy system.
It really highlights how our everyday choices, even what we eat, contribute to the bigger picture.
Absolutely. And here's another impactful way to contribute: using your voice to advocate for change.
I love that. Speaking up for what we believe in.
Mhm.
But how can we effectively advocate for clean energy?
Well, the article suggests supporting policies that incentivize clean energy, holding our elected officials accountable for their environmental commitments, and spreading awareness about the benefits of clean energy.
So it's about making our voices heard in all sorts of ways. Voting, contacting representatives, even just talking about it with people we know.
Exactly. By raising awareness and actively promoting clean energy, we help create the right environment for this transition to happen.
It's been an incredible journey. We started by understanding clean energy, then we imagined a future powered by it, and now we've explored tangible actions we can take to make that vision a reality.
And it's empowering to realize we have a choice. We don't have to feel helpless in the face of climate change and energy challenges.
Absolutely. So as we wrap up this deep dive into clean energy, I want to leave you with this. The future is not something that just happens to us. We create it together.
And each of us has the power to shape that future, to build a world where clean energy isn't just a dream, but our everyday reality.
Thanks for joining us on the deep dive. We hope you're inspired to take action, to make those small changes that can add up to something big. Until next time, keep those clean energy sparks flying.